night would it end well for Tennessee for the first time since 1971 in the swamp. Scoreless, the Iceman coming. Casey Clausen, Troy Fleming. Clausen's only touchdown pass was 7-0 Vols. Still in the first quarter, Florida driving. Rex Grossman, boy, that defensive line getting a push. Big John Henderson, Outland Trophy winner, tips it. Jabari Greer comes up with it. And let's take another look at this again, Mark.
Outstanding job of John Henderson using his hands, pushing the offensive lineman back. If you can't get to the quarterback, swat it down.
Henderson said he came back to play in this game, and boy, did he show up, and so did Travis Stevens and the Vols, shocking the Gators 14-0 in the swamp. The Gators come back. Rex Grossman thinking Heisman, thinking Rashae Caldwell. You cannot throw a ball better than this.
And you can't cover any better than that, but it's perfectly there. Caldwell does a nice job, but Clausen has a little bit of stuff of his own, but it's not good enough. Jason Witten gets the ball as it bounces off of Mike Nattil's hands, and they were back in business.
That was Nattil coming up with the interception, bouncing off Witten, the tight end. Next play, Florida's done this so many times to Tennessee. Follow a turnover, touchdown. Next play, Grossman to Gaffney. 17-14, Gators have the lead. Crazy play here. Rex trying to make a play. I mean, Eddie Moore separates Kelvin Kite from his fillings. Kite doesn't know if he's in the swamp or on a mountaintop or somewhere in between. Grossman trying to make that play. Oh, snot bubbles.
He says, don't do that to me again, Rex.
Travis Stevens, though, in the offensive line with a 2014 game, they take control, Mark.
Excellent job of sealing in the inside, sealing on the outside, and it's one-on-one with a linebacker for Travis Stevens. He makes a move, runs through the tackle, makes another move, and he's off to the races. 35 yards for the touchdown score. Here, another one. Travis Stevens. Watch him go through the hole. Look at the blocking at the point of attack. A hat on the head. Keep your feet moving. Keep your eyes looking downfield. That's what Travis Stevens does. Takes the ball down inside the 5-yard line. Here, the next play. I want you to keep an eye on the fullback. Will Bartholomew gets his head right on the linebacker, one-on-one, and Stevens is smart enough to follow him. Follow your fullback through the hole, run the ball downhill. You're not going to tackle him. Here he fights through tackles down the sidelines on the day, 19 carries, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That led to another Jabari Davis touchdown run. Is 34-26 in the front floor of Tennessee, in Grossman's face all day.
They were in his mustache all day long. John Henderson incoming, putting pressure on quarterback Rex Grossman. Here, inside, he's rolling around, and again, driving him right to the turf. Every time Rex Grossman dropped back the pass, if it wasn't a blitz, it was a stunt. And I want to introduce you myself. I am the ex-Outland Trophy winner, or last year's Outland Trophy winner, John Henderson.
But Grossman wouldn't quit, leading his team 34-26 down. Finds Carlos Perez, and the Gators back within 2. They must go for the 2-point conversion. This for the tie. Grossman gets a little time this time. The coverage is good. Has to unload. No. 34-32, Tennessee continuing to hold the lead. Yes, Phil. No. So here comes the onside kick. And guess who makes the play? Like Colorado, the tight end, John Finlayson, stepping up large, and the Vols go into Steve Spurrier's house, and they win for the first time since Phil Fulmer was a senior guard on the team, 1971, and the Volunteers are your SEC East champions, 34-32. Clausen, a la Peyton Manning, leading Rocky Top after a big Volunteer victory, but he is now done. What Peyton did not do, beat Florida. What T. Martin did not do, win in the swamp. And I will remind you that the last time that Tennessee beat Florida, they went on to win the national championship. 34-32. We told you what Travis Stevens did. Championship game, would it be Auburn or LSU? This is the opening kickoff, and LSU went for the onside kick, and Michael Clayton, receiver, recovers, and the old Riverboat Gambler took a gamble and had it work against him. There's Nick Saban out gambles Tommy Tuberville. This is Rowan Davey to Josh Reed. Extra effort, former running back. That set up the current running back for the Bayou Bengals, LeBrandon Tofield at LSU up 7-0. Tuberville was unamused because his team got a personal foul penalty for dancing on the Tiger at midfield before the thing started. But Jason Campbell getting the start for Tubbs' team and lays one right on the speedster Tim Carter, and he's going to take it to the house, 72 yards, and we are locked up at 7. But LSU has a receiver that I think he's pretty good, right?
Well, we told you beforehand that Josh Reed had to be stopped. If LSU was not going to win this ballgame, Auburn had to make something happen. 3rd and 9, Reed makes a great catch against pretty good coverage. Watch this, a 3rd and 10. Every time they needed something, he came up with the first down catch. Once again, Reed with the big one there. Early in the second quarter, still 7-7. Davey looks for him again. Josh Reed, touchdown. Now, He's a smart receiver. He managed to get himself open on that play. He was able to push off a little bit. Watch him here in the spot shadow. Good receiver working against coverage, and he pushes off to get himself separation, and Davey puts the ball right on the point. Not bad.
10 catches, $186. Reed with 90 catches for the season. 24-7, 4th and 18. The Riverboat Gambler pulls one out and blows up on it. Damon Duvall, the fake punt pass, and Demetrius Hookins with the pick, and LSU take control. This game got very chippy late in Auburn and LSU. They've had all those emotional games over the past several years, and LSU on its way to Atlanta, 27-14. The Bayou Bengals winning the SEC West. Official meteorological end of hurricane season. All Beaver ball blocking the Miami field goal and keeping the game scoreless in the first. Next play, Grant Knoll, who really struggled but not here, finding Jared Ferguson for the big game. Set up a Hokie field goal.
Miami has weapons, but they struggled outside. Couldn't get the ball to their wide receivers. Dorsey tried to get Johnson, couldn't get him. So what they do, they've got weapons. They go inside to their tight end, Jeremy Shockey. Right here, he picks up a nice catch for a first down. A little bit later, Dorsey says, can't get to the wide outs. Let me go back inside again. Shockey for the touchdown. All in the course of the ball game for him. The first half, Shockey, 4 grabs, 60 yards, and it was key. They had to go to other weapons, Reese, because the receivers were shut down by the corners, including Clinton Portis having to get it done here.
Clinton Portis catching the pass, a little dump there, and it's up 16 yards all the way down to the Hokie 7. And on the next play, Portis, who ran for 124 yards on 34 carries, and Clinton following those big guys on the left side. McKinney and friends, he goes in, it's 14-3. Ed Reed. The 20th interception of his career. That is a new school record, and Knoll threw a bunch of them.
How good is Ed Reed?
Ed Reed is a Thorpe candidate.
Watch him jump this route. He read the eyes all the time and just jumped in there and secured the ball. Big play guy.
But in the second half, the Hokies in their house, down 20-3, would not quit. Portis put it on the ground. Ben Taylor, leader of that defense, picks it up, takes ball deep in Miami's end. Jared Ferguson over the top. It is now 20-10, and here come the Hokies. Beaver ball, Ready Capshaw gets it blocked, and Brandon Manning picks it up, and suddenly it's 26-24. Tech going for the 2-point conversion. Knoll completed only 4 passes all day. And one here to Ernest Wilford.
He's open, got it, right?
Oh, let's take another peek. Right through the wicket. Dropped it, would have tied the game. 26-24 now. Knoll, did we mention Ed Reed? Picked off again, extending his Miami record, and Miami goes on the road. They have a big-time scare again, but the Hurricanes get it done. 26-24. Dorsey didn't have a great statistical day, but he led his team to victory, 26-24, and the Miami Hurricanes will play for the national 6 times and leading directly to the Oregon State win. This is final game in Autzen Stadium. Jonathan Smith trying to steal the show, dumping it off to Ken Simonton, and Ken Simonton, 18 yards. It set up a Beaver field goal, and they had the lead. Now it's in 3-0. Same score, Maurice Morris. Oregon ground attack's been getting going in the latter stages of the season. 35 yards here. It set up a duck field goal to tie the game at 3. Second quarter, still tied. Jonathan Smith, James Newsom.
I would call him a wizard. Watch him, 47 yards here. He gets the Oregon State passing attack going, which opens the running game. Oregon State would take a 6-3 lead at halftime.
And it would be 6-3 in the fourth quarter, and boy, a monsoon came to the Pacific Northwest. Beavers to punt. You must be sound
in the kicking game.
Punts. See, I was going to change it up a little bit. Keenan Howry right up the gut, 69 yards, and the Ducks in their house early in the fourth quarter, up 10-6. It's now 17-6 after a Mo Morris 8-yard touchdown run, but Jonathan Smith finds Josh Hawkins over the middle. Smith, touchdown. Hawkins making the grab. Smith, 20-38, 252, 2-point conversion, made it 17-14. Remember what Harrington did against Stanford?
Oh, he kept putting the ball on the ground. He puts it on the ground here. Kyle Russell recovers, causes the fumble. Jake Cookus recovers it. Oregon State in business, but Jonathan Smith gives it right back to Rashad Bowman.
Bowman saving the day for Joey Harrington, who let one get away against Stanford. The Cardinal beat them 42-41, but this time the defense had his back. 17-14, Oregon wins it. They are 10-1. They are going to the BCS, but a our BCS gurus tell us they cannot make the Rose Bowl regardless of what happens to Tennessee because they can't pass Nebraska.
Correct.
So that's going to do it, but it's a great season for Mike Bellotti and friends. Stanford finally beating San Jose State.
I'll ignore that.
Okay, 3 straight losses before this, but an easy win, 41-14. Fasani with a big day. Arizona State, UCLA, it's 14-7. Bruin lead. Scott McEwen in there, and the Bruins really struggled. Sean Foster out of there. Corey Paws, he's had his problems. McEwen avoids the rush, got jackknifed, but drops it right on Craig Bragg, and this thing got wild. I don't know what happened to that vaunted Bruin defense. They gave up 42 to the Sun Devils, but it was okay because they scored 52. UCLA 7-4. They will wait to see what their bowl fate, if any, will be. There's been some speculation about all of that. The game that we thought before the season would decide the ACC championship, Georgia Tech, Florida State, their bowl fates are decided. They're just playing for pride. Chris Ricks down 3-0, looking for A-True's Bell, and A-True's going to make some yards after the catch.
Wonderful job of breaking the tackle and taking the ball downfield for more positive yardage.
And here's Ricks, who's really come on. His numbers have been good. The turnover's a problem at times, but PK Sam for the touchdown, 7-3 Seminoles. Georgia Tech would fight back. The Goose. George Godsey to Joe Burns, 60 yards. Joe looking up somebody to hit, trying to knock him away. He doesn't get in there. Led to a Burns touchdown. 10-7 Yellow Jackets at the half. Third quarter, Ricks, Javon Walker, 47 yards, Florida State up 21-10. Fourth quarter, Adrian McPherson now, the true freshman in there, and PK Sam's going to come up with it at the 5-yard line, and that would lead to William McRae finishing off.
Nice job by William McRae of weaving through, following his blockers, picking his way into the end zone, follow the big guys up front to lead you to the promised land.
28-17, the final. Georgia Tech is bowl eligible. Penn State up 7-3. Zach Mills, the freshman. Mick Blosser, 14-3. Looks as if Joe Pa's going to reel in bowl bid number 31, but 14-6 game. Mills gives it up, puts it on the ground. Art Thomas going to take it 92 yards to the house, and Penn State's lead suddenly down to 14-13.
It was a key play of the ball game. They were going in for a score that would have closed out the game, but they didn't get it, and then they had to struggle in the fourth quarter, and they threw picks. Right here, Mills picked up by Merrill Robertson, but they were saved by a penalty, Reese.
But that wouldn't last long. Groh, unhappy with that, but just a few minutes later, Mills re-aggravates an injured left ankle. He went to the sidelines. He turned it over 4 times on the day. Matt Seneca in there, and he is picked off immediately by Chris Williams. Not Chris Williams, the Virginia basketball star, another Chris Williams, who was a football star after that one. Then Mills, one of those picks. Angelo Corral takes it, and Virginia not bowl eligible, and neither is Penn State. 20-14, UVA wins it. Penn State will miss a bowl game in back-to-back seasons for the first time since 65-66. So Penn State not going out of the Big Ten. What about Michigan State? A home game against Missouri, already up 10-0, and Jeff Smoker looking for Charlie Rogers. Big receiver, tall receiver. Spartans lead at 17-0. It's 24-0 when Smoker trains it to Herb Haygood. Back to Rogers. Missouri had this play stifled, and somehow Rogers escaped. Goes down the sidelines, and about this time, Missouri's thinking about final exams, Christmas plans, when the bus is leaving.
Oh, I left my car running in the parking lot.
Yeah, and Rogers figures, what the heck, let me just sneak in for a touchdown pass when the score is 48-0.
Damon Dowdell, the freshman, threw it to him 55-7. The Spartans are bowl eligible and likely headed to the Silicon Valley Bowl to take on Fresno State. Duke and Clemson. Clemson also needing to win. Number 6, Duke trying to avoid the 23rd straight loss. Woodrow Dantzler, J.J. McKelvey, that tied the game at 7. Clemson goes on to win this thing, 59-31. The key, Dantzler ran for 135 yards, and it made him one of a kind. You see the numbers passing, 243, 4 touchdowns. Woodrow Dantzler becomes the first 2,000, 1,000 guy in college football history. Dantzler with a brilliant season, just barely over that 1,000-yard mark. He also the 3rd player ever with 2,500 rushing yards and 5,000 passing for his career. Pittsburgh going to the Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl after beating UAB's team to a victory over Navy after a couple of straight losses. Color guards on the field. Midshipmen won last year 30-28. Commander-in-Chief tossing the coin before the game, spoke to the teams in the locker room before the game. It had to be an emotional experience for them. The Tomahawk choppers flying over. Navy won the toss. After that, things didn't really go their way. White Knights of the Hudson go to Ardell Daniels, the freshman, 60 yards to the house, and Army with a 7-0 lead, and they would be back for more. Later in the first, same score, Army with the ball in Navy's 42, and Chad Jenkins almost picked off, but he finds Brian Brewington.
Now watch him come up with this. He'll go 42 yards for the score here. They missed the extra point, but it's a 13-0 lead for Army.
It was 16-3 at the half. This is the second half kickoff, and any hope that Navy had of mounting a rally probably washed away. A little fake trickeration. Omari Thompson's going to keep it, and little senior turning on the speed, and it's going to go 96 yards to the house. Army with a commanding 23-3 lead in front of the commander-in-chief and in front of General Schwarzkopf. You think he enjoyed that, Mark?
He's pumped.
Navy would kick some field goals, 23-9, but just not their day. Brian Madden of the botch play. Jason Frazier picks it up to Ryan Zickelfuss, and he put it in there. It's 26-9. You can't do that, of course. It will lead to an Army field goal. Navy did score late, a little bit too late. Madden finding Steve Mercer, 26-17. Army beats Navy, and you see the emotion of this game evident on the faces of the midshipmen. Navy goes winless for the first time since 1948. 12 of the last 14 games have been decided by 10 points or less. BYU and Mississippi State in Starkville, 31-24 dog lead. Brandon Doman going deep. Doug Jolly and BYU cutting up Jolie Dunn's defense just like they have everybody else this year. BYU driving now for the lead early in the fourth quarter, but Doman wanders into the pig pen and pays for it.
Oh, Pig Prather with a nice grab up there at the highest point. That was the third pick of the day for Doman.
On the ensuing drive, DeCenzo Miller. Remember that run he made a couple of years ago against BYU, spinning and scoring? Quite as exciting, but second touchdown of the day, pretty exciting to the people in Starkville. Put the Dogs up by a touchdown. BYU right back. Doman, Spencer Need. Doman's fifth touchdown pass of the game. You know, if these Heisman guys aren't interested, Brandon, the Dominator, would take it. But Luke Staley, nation's leader in touchdowns, getting some business done.
Staley does a wonderful job of lowering his shoulders and turning and getting the first down.
And on the next play, here comes Luke Staley again on the final drive. Staley running tough. 3 plays later, Luke Staley. We're inside a minute and a half now. Staley for 9 yards. And on the next run, Staley, inside a minute to go, would pick up 6 more. He goes down very tough. You take a look at what happened to his leg, and it is nasty. Sort of gets tangled up in there, and reports now that Staley, Luke Staley, 28 touchdowns coming into this game, has a broken left leg. He would be helped off the field. He had 153 yards rushing, but Matt Payne makes it a victorious effort for Staley, and BYU preserved his perfect season so far with a 41-38 victory. BYU, of course, finishes up at Hawaii next week. Cenzo Miller with 119 yards rushing. Jackie Sherrill's team finishing at 3-8. So
quarter 10-9 Irish. Purdue kicking off after a field goal, and Vontez Duff going to get out to the corner and base into place means peace, see you later. He is gone, 94 yards, 17-9 ND. As Lindsey Nelson used to say, we move to action in the fourth quarter. 24-9 Irish. Purdue threatening on Irish 12. Kyle Orton. Oh, we've got a deflection. Tim Stratton off Seth Morales. Diving catch. Purdue misses the PAT. They're down 24-15. Later in the fourth, Notre Dame trying to run out the clock. Carlisle Holloway drops back, but he never goes down to his knee. They blow a whistle. Now Purdue's going to get the ball. Play is ruled dead. And Bob Davie is very, very upset, and he lets the officials know how upset.
Blow the whistle!
Oh, but they did. Look again. Holiday going to dance, going to shuffle. And he never went down. And then Davie's going to get really irate because they put more time back on the clock from where the whistle was blown. Notre Dame had to punt because of that. Purdue gets the ball back with 1 play left, down 6, and as a former embattled Irish coach, Jerry Faust used to say a Hail Mary, say a Hail Mary, say a Hail Mary. Orton's Hail Mary not answered. Clifford Jefferson intercepts it. Bob Davie ecstatic. The Irish hold on. 24-15. The Boilermakers limp home, losing 4 of their last 5, but the magic words for Purdue: bowl eligible. They're headed to El Paso to face Washington State. ND not bowling, but the big question, what's next for Bob Davie? He was asked if he felt he was coaching to keep his job.
No, not at all. You know, I'm not, my ego isn't big enough
It's all about these players, and I mean that sincerely. You know, I learned a long time ago, worry about other people, do the best you can do, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen.